You met him at a party, or through an app, or in a class, and something clicked. Not a thought, not a decision, something faster than that. A pull, a certainty. You chose him, except you didn't. Your body ran a scan you never authorized. In less than 1 second, it processed his sweat, his skin, the air around him. It checked something buried so deep in your biology that no one gave it a name until 1995. And based on what it found, it either pushed you forward or quietly, invisibly, pulled you back. You never felt the scan. You thought it was chemistry. In 1995, a Swiss biologist named Claus Wedekind at the University of Bern ran an experiment. 44 men wore the same white cotton t-shirt for 2 nights straight. No deodorant, no cologne, no scented soap. Then 49 women came in and smelled the shirts from boxes with holes cut into the lids. They rated each shirt for how attractive the smell was. The results should not have been possible. The women didn't prefer the men who were fittest or tallest or most symmetrical. They preferred the men whose immune system was most different from their own. Not slightly different, most different. At a specific cluster of genes called the major histocompatibility complex. Genes that have been deciding human attraction for at least 300,000 years. Your nose is a genetic scanner, and for most of human history, it never made a mistake. But something changed, and nobody warned you what happens when that system breaks. To understand why your nose knows something your brain doesn't, you need to go back about 300,000 years. A band of early humans, somewhere in what is now Africa, is down to 11 people. They have no way to test blood, no way to look at chromosomes. No microscope, no lab, no concept of immunity. What they have is a fire, some animal hides and each other, and a sense of smell that was doing something extraordinary. The major histocompatibility complex is a set of genes that controls how your immune system identifies threats. Bacteria, viruses, parasites. Your MHC determines which ones your body can recognize and fight. The more diverse your MHC profile, the wider the range of pathogens you can destroy. Here is the problem your ancient ancestors faced. If 2 people with identical MHC genes have a child, that child has a narrow immune window. It can fight what they can fight, and nothing else. One new pathogen, and the child is dead. In a world without medicine, that is not a flaw. That is a death sentence. So the body evolved a solution. It learned to smell the difference. Every person produces odor molecules that carry trace signals of their MHC profile, invisible, unconscious, constantly broadcasting. When you stand close to someone, your olfactory system reads those signals in milliseconds and generates a response you experience as attraction or its absence, not a preference, a verdict. Wedekind's 1995 study confirmed this in the lab. Women reliably preferred the smell of MHC dissimilar men, not because those men were better looking, not because of anything visual, because their immune profile was the right distance from her own. The body was protecting the next generation before the woman had said a single word. 34,000 years ago, according to a 2017 study published in Science examining Upper Paleolithic remains, humans were already deliberately building mating networks outside their immediate group. Not because they decided to, because attraction was pulling them there. Their noses were navigating them toward genetic diversity without anyone understanding why. This system worked for 300,000 years. Flawlessly, automatically. And then, in 1960, something broke it. Not a disease, not a catastrophe, a small white pill taken once a day. The oral contraceptive pill works by mimicking pregnancy. It raises progesterone, lowers estrogen, and tells the body, you are already carrying a child. Stop ovulating. This is medically effective. It is also, from your body's ancient perspective, a state of emergency. Because when a woman is pregnant in a hunter-gatherer world, she is vulnerable. She cannot flee fast. She cannot fight easily. She needs her group around her. Specifically, she needs people she is genetically related to, people who share her blood, people who smell like her. And so her nose changes its job. Instead of scanning for genetic distance, it starts scanning for genetic closeness. Instead of being repelled by MHC-similar men, she is drawn to them. They smell safe. They smell like family. Wedekind found this in 1995. Women taking the pill preferred the smell of MHC-similar men, not different men, similar. The exact opposite of what their biology needed for their offspring. In 2008, evolutionary psychologist Stuart Craig Roberts at the University of Newcastle ran a longitudinal study. He tested women before they started taking the pill, and then 3 months after. The shift was not subtle. 60 women who had started the pill showed a clear preference move toward MHC-similar odors. The 40 women who hadn't started the pill showed no change. Roberts said this directly. Pill use could disrupt dissociative mate preferences. The scientific phrase for your body's 300,000-year-old strategy for finding a genetically compatible partner. Your 300,000-year-old system, quietly running in reverse. And you felt nothing different. You just thought you liked him, which, to be fair, is a very reasonable thing to think. Your nose did not send you a warning notification. In 2009, a review in Trends in Ecology and Evolution by Alexandra Alverne and Verpi Lemmer at the University of Sheffield showed that the pill doesn't just change smell preferences. It removes every cycling shift in attraction that a woman's body normally runs. The ovulation-driven pull toward more masculine features. The fertility phase sharpening of judgment. All of it gone, flattened, replaced by the steady hormonal state of a woman who is, as far as her biology is concerned, already pregnant. You meet someone, you feel chemistry, you feel certainty, and you don't know that your scanner is broken. There's one more thing, a detail that makes this worse, and it involves what happens when you stop. In 2014, a study was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Researchers followed 118 couples. In every case, the woman had been on the pill when the relationship started. Then, at some point, usually when the couple decided to try for a child, she stopped. What happened next divided the women into two groups. If the partner was conventionally attractive by evolutionary standards, she became more satisfied with the relationship after stopping the pill. Her natural scanner turned back on and confirmed the choice. If the partner was not conventionally attractive, the opposite happened. She became less sexually satisfied, less happy in the marriage, and far more likely to end the relationship. The researchers, led by Michelle Russell at Florida State University, were careful about the language. But the mechanism is not complicated. For years, her nose had been running a broken scan. It had selected for genetic closeness, safety, familiarity. When it came back online, when the hormonal pregnancy simulation ended, it ran the real scan for the first time. And sometimes the real scan returned a different answer. Think about what this means in practical terms. A woman starts the pill at 22. She meets someone at 24. She stops the pill at 28 to have a child. The relationship she built over 4 years was built while her primary attraction system was running in reverse. Her brain has memories, history, comfort. Her nose has a new verdict. And those two things are now in conflict inside the same person. Stuart Craig Roberts put it plainly in 2008. Pill use could ultimately lead to the breakdown of relationships when women stop using the contraceptive pill. As odor perception plays a significant role in maintaining attraction to partners, this is not hypothetical. A 2013 study in Psychological Science of 365 couples found that women who went on or off the pill during a relationship reported lower sexual satisfaction than women who had been consistently on it or consistently off it. The act of switching in either direction disrupted something. Now go back 300,000 years. An ancient human female in the same band has been watching a male for 3 weeks. He brings back more meat than the others. He doesn't get sick when the others get sick. He smells right, not pleasant necessarily. Right. Her body has been running its scan every time he walked past the fire, and every time it returned the same answer. Her body has been running its scan every time he walked past the fire, and every time it returned the same answer. It is a biological assessment that has been stress tested for 300,000 years of human survival. She doesn't have a word for MHC. She doesn't need one. She doesn't have a pill. She doesn't have a pharmacy. She doesn't have a medical system that invented something that works for one of its stated purposes, and silently dismantled a different system that had been working since before language existed. She also doesn't have a 2014 study telling her what went wrong. She also doesn't have a 2014 study telling her what went wrong. Couples with MHC, similar profiles report lower sexual satisfaction, higher rates of infidelity interest, and more relationship instability than couples with MHC dissimilar profiles. This has been found in multiple studies. Your body knows when the genetic match is wrong. It keeps looking. It doesn't announce this. It just creates a low-grade dissatisfaction that you interpret as boredom or growing apart. or falling out of love. You were not falling out of love. Your immune system was filing a complaint. You walked into that party. Something clicked. You thought you chose him. Your body had been making that choice for 300,000 years before you were born. And for the first time in all of those years, something had gotten in the way. The scam was always running. It just wasn't always yours.